Talk to me. WSRadio.com.
The San Diego Council on Literacy brings you Literacy for All with your host, Jose Cruz.
Welcome to the show. This is actually our third segment. We're broadcasting on March 12th, 2020, in case you hear this a different time. And we are on WS Radio on the Literacy for All radio show. Our guest today is the program representative for the San Diego Council on Literacy. And actually, this is not her first time on the show because she actually hosted this show one day for us. Hey, Elisabeth Jacobsen, how are you doing out there?
I'm doing great. How are you, Jose?
Doing good. So glad to have you as a guest this time. So this is good.
Yeah, it was really fun to get to host and chat with the Traveling Stories folks.
Yeah, and I knew that was going to work out. I mean, especially, and just you're all so much fun. The Traveling Stories crew is just, they're always excited and active, and you have a good way with the work that you're doing with all the literacy programs. And I want to give some background to that because in the San Diego Council on Literacy, we have a network of 29 affiliated programs. And Jennifer, part of your job, did I just call you Jennifer?
You did.
Who is Jennifer?
It's okay.
Who's Jennifer? Well, anyway, I'll come back to that. Oh my God, Elisabeth. You have as part of your job really bringing everyone together, but also meeting individually with the program coordinators and doing a bit of work to gauge what their interests are and their priorities are. And I know you're just getting started in that work. It's a lot of work. How are you feeling about what you're doing there, and what are you seeing in the different literacy programs that you're seeing in the San Diego area?
Right. Well, I'm having a lot of fun. It's a real privilege to get to see what's happening in the literacy community in San Diego. I'd already been doing a little literacy work in San Diego, but I got to learn about everything else that's out there, and there's so many resources for so many different learners out there, which is really exciting. So that's been really fun to get to discover that.
Go ahead.
So I have gotten to visit a handful of programs so far and be at the affiliate program meetings and see folks there as well. But I've gotten to see the Children's Initiative, and that's with Kristen Shea, and go down to Chula Vista and see their Adult Literacy Services program. Also over to the International Rescue Committee, Oceanside Public Library, the Read San Diego program, and Traveling Stories, their story tent.
And that's quite an impressive list of programs. I know it's just a sampling. And so I want to ask you a question, and that is this, because as I understand, you, like a lot of folks, you have a traditional interest in education. You've done work with SDCL, their reading program there. You are doing tutoring on your own, and then you have this whole other network of literacy service programs that are a little bit different from what you see in traditional educational settings. What has been striking to you about what you've done before and what you're seeing with these literacy programs?
Well, I think that's a really good point, because I think that, and I think that people who work in literacy maybe see this a little bit more, is that we notice a lot of kids and learners who are younger, they're having difficulty with reading or literacy or writing or something in that sense. But I think we tend to forget about folks that are a little bit older that are having challenges or difficulties for some reason. And that's been the really great thing for me, is to get to see the resources out there for those learners. So, for example, I got to visit a team, a tutor, Fred, and he's been working with Lupita for about 10 years, and they're an adult. She's an adult learner, and she's gone through getting a GED and going on to college courses and pursuing becoming better at speaking English and other things like that.
Mm-hmm.
So I think it's easy for my background, or I think for maybe a lot of educators or people in the education world, to forget that there are a variety of people who are out there needing support with
Right.
reading and literacy,
Yeah.
and also that there's programs for parents who are new parents, kids who are just born, and helping those parents learn how to read stories to their kids and how to boost literacy skills for their kids from birth, basically, as well.
Yeah, so if you look at just what we're used to hearing about education, the things that take place in the classroom in public schools, and then there's all this other activity out there, and it's a very exciting thing because the schools can't do it all. One of the things that just jumped out to me was Lupita and her tutor, the two of them working together over a 10-year period. And it's like, well, that's a long time. When is she going to learn to read? But actually, it sounds like he's worked with her all the way beyond a high school equivalency certificate, whatever it might be, improving her English and such. What can you tell us more about that particular partnership and why wow, that's a long time to work with a person?
Right. Well, I think that's the exciting piece, is that literacy, I think, is a continuum. And the really fun part about getting to sit down with Lupita and Fred is that when I asked them that question, how long have you been working together, I expected a shorter answer, too.
Yeah.
But, when he said, well, about 10 years is what he said. And she started out as coming with her kids to the story time at the library and then learning about this program. Mm-hmm. And realizing that she had a need to become better with her literacy and her reading skills. But once she started there, then she realized that she had other goals that she wanted to reach, where she needed more advanced literacy skills than just basic reading and writing skills. So that's where Fred and her decided to keep going so she could work to become a preschool teacher. So she's now in that program now. And I know that Susan Vega, who heads up that literacy program, also said that there are people from everything just wanting to read to their grandchildren, be able to do that comfortably, which is hard for some people, to people who need help filling out a job application. I guess those of us who reading is really easy for, we don't think that that's tricky, but there is a lot of technical language there.
Right.
Or taking the ASVAB, the Armed Services Vocational Aptitude Battery exam. I think I got that right, for the military. So there's such a wide variety of need out there and a wide variety of skill that's needed to be able to interact with those goals, whatever they are.
Right. And so there's it's exciting to hear just about the flexibility. I think we kind of take it for granted that, it used to be there weren't that many programs, but now there are all these programs that are helping people achieve really basic goals. And I'm talking about very basic goals, even just, human goals that a grandma or a grandpa who is learning to read so they can read a book to their grandchild is a grandma or grandpa who probably didn't know how to read at the time that they had children. Right?
Right, yeah. Right. And that's where I have a real heart for what the Literacy Council does, the San Diego Council on Literacy, because it reaches out to those people who, they probably don't want to share about their challenges. It might be a little bit embarrassing for them or a little challenging to share. So it's really wonderful that there are these programs out there that can reach out and help. And you're talking about having some very fundamental support. I just got to visit not too long ago the International Rescue Committee, and they were helping people who are learning the language, how to fill out a job application, what it means to write your initials,
right.
How to introduce yourself, and things like how to take the bus places from where they are. I think you sort of forget about those needs so that they can help set folks up to be successful.
Yeah, and with IRC, with the International Rescue Committee, you're talking about immigrants and refugees. You talk about people who've been displaced, right? And so now they're in a new land, another culture, another language, and having to learn how to decipher words in another language. How about that for,
Right, and such hard workers. And then when I was talking with Heather, and she was saying, and one thing we do is help them, that idea of learning how to take the bus and read the bus map, so that they can, once they fill out that job application and they get that job, then they can take the bus to that job. Yeah. And just really helping people be successful and get to those goals that they have. And I think that's why I think back to Lapita and Fred, because I think all these programs, really, all the 29 affiliated programs are all working to help different folks and different people reach those goals.
Well, and I just appreciate the work that you're doing, Elisabeth, and you're in a special position, and I think you're the right person for this position, so just glad for that. We're getting ready to go to break. I do, of course, have more questions for you in this second and last segment of the day. And so I'm going to save those, and we're going to share the answers with our listeners. You've been listening to Elisabeth Jacobsen. She's from the San Diego Council on Literacy. I'm Jose Cruz. You're listening to the Literacy for All radio show on WS Radio, the worldwide leader in Internet talk.
I've heard this is like one of the best pizza spots in town.
Yes, it is.
I'll do a slice of pepperoni, slice of vegetarian.
You got it.
And I will pay for all of that in 3 days.
In 3 days? What's that mean?
Well, wait, you accept credit cards. That money's not going to hit your account for 3 days anyway.
I need my money quicker.
At Chase, we hear you. With Express Funding, card payments are in your Chase account the next business day. Go to chase.com/expressfunding. Chase for business, so you can.
Compensated participation. All businesses are subject to credit approval. Not all clients are eligible for next business day funding, and additional terms, conditions, and restrictions apply.
Donate cash, furniture, clothes, and other gently used household items to Father Joe's Villages and get a nice tax break in April. Every donation is tax deductible. Believe you can make a difference. Be Father Joe. Go to neighborhood.org or call 1-800-HOMELESS to donate today.
Life is full of misadventures, from car crashes to home fires to getting choked out on the mat. Yes, I said getting choked out because I'm Carlos Kramer, jiu-jitsu competitor, MMA and media personality, and mild-mannered insurance agent. You can follow my adventures on Kick-Ass Radio, and I can protect you from life's misadventures at Kramer Insurance. Home, auto, life, business, and workers' comp. We're at KramerINS.com, and I want you to join my world.
This is Bill Gruber with BizVid Communications, a Southern California video production leader. We've been honored to sponsor, produce, write, and host many of the fine programs on WS Radio over the years. So we understand how important the internet and your website exposure are. As video producers, we know the tricks and secrets to incorporate video to increase your search engine optimization and business success. Visit bizvidcommunications.com to see what we can do for you. BIZVID communications.com.
Too much to do? Not enough time to get it done? Call on the experts at Another 8 Hours for your business support needs. By partnering with Another 8 Hours, we allow you to focus on the more important matters, like being in front of your clients, doing what you do best, rather than being stuck at a desk poring over paperwork, rummaging through emails, returning phone calls, and struggling to get everything done by yourself. Meanwhile, your family and social life are going down the drain. Go to another8hours.com or call 8 more hours. That's 866-734-6877.
Hi, this is Rob Barnett, VinVillage.com, where wine lovers connect. Be sure to tune in weekly to Vin Village Radio for exclusive, in-depth interviews with the who's who in wine and food.
Can you imagine a world without children? A world where children don't play, or dream, or imagine?
At St. Jude Children's Research Hospital, we're working every day to find cures for diseases that strike down children. Because we can't imagine a world without children. Can you?
Finding cures, saving children. St. Jude Children's Research Hospital. To learn how you can help, log on to our website, stjude.org.
Talk to me. WSRadio.com.
The San Diego Council on Literacy brings you Literacy for All with your host, Jose Cruz.
Welcome back to the show. It's Jose Cruz from the San Diego Council on Literacy. You're listening to the Literacy for All radio show, and our guest is Elisabeth Jacobsen. She is the program representative for the San Diego Council on Literacy. Welcome back, Elisabeth.
Thank you.
I have a story to share, just inspired just by what you were sharing regarding International Rescue Committee. So I had to take a trip. I had a nephew getting married in Hawaii, and I needed a ride from downtown to the airport, and kind of figured out in my own way, just with a little bit of experience, how to load up Uber app and all that. And I did it. I succeeded. I got a ride.
Yeah, that can be tricky.
Yeah. I say, hey, I did Uber. I was so proud of myself. But that's a little bit of practice there. Here's something that I did as a kid, and it really threw me back for a bit. And when I came back to San Diego, landed at the airport, I had some money in my pocket, and I didn't want to take Uber, and I didn't want to take a taxi, and I saw that the bus is right there, and it was going to take me to where my car, close enough to where my car was parked downtown. I used to ride the bus every time. This was a little scary for me, and so I'm trying to read the schedule, which I could do that and see maybe when the bus was coming, and then I saw that it was $2.50 exact change. No change back, right? And so what do I have? I have 3 ones. And I'm like, okay, are they going to let me give them 3 ones? I'll give them the 50 cents. How do I hand the $3 to somebody? Is there like a place where I'm supposed to load the $3? Are they going to get mad because I don't have 50 cents? I was trying to get some change, so I was kind of panicked. But that's kind of, small things like that will intimidate you, especially, man, you don't know the language. You really don't know exactly what's happening, and you're trying to just function. And I guess you see that, and I know you have a history of education, and not just with the Council on Literacy, but you just look at what people need today to function in this world. And I'm guessing that you've seen a lot of that, and maybe people overcoming some of the odds so that they can do the things that they need to do to live in this world.
Right. Well, I guess you can imagine, like, your situation. If you're someone who has challenges with reading, I mean, if you're already a confident reader and it's unfamiliar, imagine, putting yourself in those shoes, because I think we forget that there are so many genre-specific vocabulary words and different ways to read things, especially with media and the internet, and that makes things even a little bit harder to navigate for some people.
No, and that's so. To end the story for you, I did have to slide 3 $1 bills into this slot, and I didn't get my change back, and that was okay. I was glad to get the ride, so just wanted to say that. In terms of, we've been talking a whole lot about literacy awareness and such, and getting things in front of people. And I know you also, in your duties with the Council on Literacy, you have to do the referrals. What are some of the things, and these are people who are calling in to volunteer and also to get help. What are some of your experiences in interacting with the public on that personal one-to-one basis in terms of their inclination to help or to get help? What do you find?
Well, that's a really wonderful thing. There's so much good in the world, and it's great to be reminded of that so often, that people call or they email and they say, I saw your website, I saw the article in the newspaper. My friend, I know there was one of the volunteers I talked with at the Children's Initiative. She's a retired special education teacher, and she wanted to stay involved and help out, and so that's what she's been doing. So that's really encouraging to see on a daily basis, lots of people wanting to get involved to help others reach their goals, whatever they are, whether it's reading to their grandchildren or, getting a high school diploma or taking an exam to get a placement in the military.
Yeah.
But there's also learners who might call in, and they call in because email is difficult for them because of their reading challenges and writing challenges. And there was a gal who called in the other day. I think she was 51 years old, and she had been in San Diego for a couple years, and she just said, I realize that I need help with my reading and writing because I really can't read or write, and I've just decided it's time for me to get help. And she just said, can you guys help me with that?
Yeah.
And it's great to be able to say, yes, we have several programs. Let's find a place that's a match for you, whether it's downtown Reed, San Diego, that trains tutors, and then they can find a place to work with those learners, or if it's somewhere else that's close by for that learner to just help them be successful in their life and help them feel good about where they are and what they're doing, and that's really exciting. So
it's a
I
great
think
thing. At the age of 51, right? And it's like that's still young, and a person has made a decision that they want to learn more, and so it's just again great to have the organization and someone like you who's taking these calls, because those are fragile communication opportunities. And so they just have to be handled sensitively, and I know that you have that. Let's see.
Right, and this learner, they're what they told me was they said the best thing for me is if you send me a text message, and what I can do is that I can get someone to help me read the text message, and then if I read it enough times, I can sort of memorize it, and then I can figure it out from there.
How about that, right? The coping skills.
Yeah, and so that's what I ended up doing, and it's nice that there are all these programs that are working so hard to help this vision of literacy for all in San Diego County.
Very good. Well, you and I received a letter today from a gentleman, and I'm going to say he was probably incarcerated, and he reminded me of it because we talked about it. It's never too late. It's never too early. It's never too late. And then in this letter, this gentleman just talked about that it was too late for him, and that he had some issues and such and all, and that he was writing this letter to encourage us to do the work that we're doing, to be leaders, and to help with the next generation of scientists and doctors and such. But it was quite nice to get this letter, and at the same time, a little bit sad, that we know that there are folks out there who feel like life has passed them by. What do you have to say to folks like that?
Well, that it's never too late, and that there's such a huge support network out there of people that want to support you, and programs and organizations that want to help you meet your goals, and that everyone has something valuable to contribute, everybody. And I think about, I was over in Oceanside visiting their program. They're doing a family literacy program. And one of the moms that brought her kid was new to the program. And she was coming in. She wanted help learning how to be a good literacy teacher, basically, for her little toddler. And there at that meeting, she got to meet another parent who had her kids, who would kind of come up through the program and through the library at Oceanside, their Oceanside Reads Learning Center. And they got to meet each other and connect. And that was another level of support. So there's a program.
Very good.
But then she also got to connect with this mom and her kids. And they started talking about, she said, oh, yeah, why don't you come to story time?
I'm going to have to cut you off, Elizabeth.
Okay.
Yeah, but it's a series of connections, vital ones, and people helping each other. And that's what the Council on Literacy is about, these literacy programs. Thank you, Elisabeth Jacobsen.
Thank you.
All right, we'll have you back another time. You've been listening to the Literacy for All radio show on WS Radio, the worldwide leader in Internet talk.
I raised $8,000 to build schools for South African children. After realizing how many people go hungry in San Diego, I now volunteer at a food pantry.
I'm spending the next year doing volunteer projects across 3 countries and helping in ways they designate to be the most helpful.
The World Link program at the Joan B. Kroc Institute for Peace and Justice recognizes the potential of youth as agents of social change. Learn how you can help youth become a generation of leaders in action at peace.sandiego.edu.
In the military, things can change in an instant. Your personal life is just the same. Just like you protect our country, you want your family protected. That's why thousands of military members trust Navy Mutual Life Insurance. Navy Mutual is nonprofit, providing current and former Navy, Marine, and Coast Guard families with life insurance, no sales fees, and no military service restrictions. Protecting members on active duty and beyond. Call 1-800-628-6011, 800-628-6011, NavyMutual.org, insuring those who serve.
Nowadays, internet devices are an integral part of your home. Everyone in your family has a smartphone, tablet, or a computer. Life is easier knowing that all your devices are secured and your family can surf the internet carefree. ESET Multi-Device Security Pack does just that. One license for all your devices. With ESET, it's simple to stay protected and save money. Enjoy safer technology with ESET Multi-Device Security Pack at ESET.com. That's ESET.com.
I've heard this is like one of the best pizza spots in town.
Yes, it is.
I'll do a slice of pepperoni, slice of vegetarian.
You got it.
And I will pay for all of that in 3 days.
In 3 days?
What's that mean? Well, wait, you accept credit cards. That money's not going to hit your account for 3 days anyway.
I need my money quicker.
At Chase, we hear you. With Express Funding, card payments are in your Chase account the next business day. Go to chase.com/expressfunding. Chase for business, so you can.
Compensated participation. All businesses are subject to credit approval. Not all clients are eligible for next business day funding, and additional terms, conditions, and restrictions apply.
Tired of presentations with no impact, no inspiration, and no traction? Do dull speakers have you and your team disengaged and distracted by smartphones? Christopher McAuliffe brings energy, insights, and 2 decades of experience, delivered with punch, humor, and heart. Your team will leave energized, uplifted, and with a sense of purpose. Visit ChristopherMcAuliffe.com to bring some heat to your next speaking engagement. McAuliffe. ChristopherMcAuliffe.com.
Hey, it's Catherine from Listen Local Radio. Moe's Guitars has proudly served the San Diego music community since 1975. Specializing in guitars, basses, mandolins, banjos, and ukuleles, they buy, sell, trade, and consign. If you're looking for lessons, repairs, accessories, and cool gear, you found the right place. Located in downtown La Mesa Village, stop by and check out their digs or visit moesguitars.com or their Facebook page. MOZEguitars.com, 619-698-1185.